Hi everybody, welcome to the second section of the React Native course. In this section we'll learn how to perform and integrate API calls into our app. In this section we're going to take a look at the following topics. First of all, we'll introduce the library we're going to use to handle async actions like API calls, Redux-Saga. We will explain how to write API calls and how to process the response and save them into our reducers. And finally, we will see how to deal with the API errors. Welcome to the first video of the section 2, which is called Async Actions with Redux-Saga. In this video we'll introduce the Redux-Saga library. With it, we will be able to handle async actions like network requests. In this video we're going to take a look at three important topics: how to install the library, how we should write our actions for the basic API sagas, and finally, we will see how to write our first saga. Let's start with the basics about installing Redux-Saga. To install Redux-Saga, we have to follow the standard procedure. Just use yarn on npm and you're good to go. It's important to have completed the previous videos in order to have a fully operative Redux stack. Before starting with Redux-Saga, let's see an important language feature coming from modern JavaScript, the generators. Generators are JavaScript functions that can be paused and resumed at any time. The yield keyword pauses the execution of the function till the called function resolves. In this small example, we will wait for API call to return its response. Then, our fetch from API function continues with the response object. As you can see in this example, the async nature of a server request can be easily read as if we were dealing with a normal function, but it will wait for the API call function to resolve. If you need to wait for multiple events before returning either success or failure, it's going to be easy to write it like a run to completion function and not dealing with then catch statements common from JS promises. Okay, let's see an installation demo. Demo finished. Okay, now that we have both Redux-Saga and we know what generators are, let's see how we can trigger our API call. If you remember from our past section, we have dispatched actions to trigger events that can change our state. In this case, we're going to follow the same strategy, but we're going to need different actions, because we are dealing with async events. Our sagas will sit between the actions and the reducers, and will catch and also trigger new actions. In this case, we want to know when a request has started and when it has ended, so we're going to need actions for those events. Let's write our saga actions. We're going to remove this. We're going to need two different actions. We have the getMovies action, which will trigger the API request. We can remove the payload because we are not going to use it, because the movies list will come from our API request. So we need a new action. The action that will be triggered when the API request gets the movies response. Let's call it getMoviesSuccess. As a parameter, it's going to take the response object. Type, it's going to be getMoviesSuccess. And the payload will include the response. That's it for now. Once we have our two actions, let's write our first saga to handle the API request. In this case, we are not going to use an API request. We are going to mock our API request with a promise. Let's go to our movies directory and create a new folder. Let's call it sagas. Let's create our new saga. We're going to import three methods from our Redux-Saga effects: call, put, and take latest. First of all, let's write our API mock. This getMovies function is going to mock our API request using a promise and set timeout. So, now we are ready to write our first saga. Let's create a generator function. It's going to represent our saga. This function is going to take the action trigger as a parameter. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the getMovies function response. In this line, our saga is going to wait till the getMovies promise returns the result to assign it to the movies variable. Once we have that, we can trigger our success action. Now, what we need is another generator function to handle the action. This takeLatest effect, what it's going to do is going to listen to any getMovies action type, and it's going to take the latest event to trigger our fetchMovies generator function. If another getMovies action is triggered while the fetchMovies generator function is being executed, Redux-Saga is going to cancel that execution and trigger a new fetchMovies execution again. So, this is our finished saga. In this video we covered 3 important things to integrate Redux-Saga into our app: the installation and configuration, the basic actions, and the very first saga.